The best way to get better at programming is to practice. And in this example, we're going to create a class definition for a generic shape. This will have 3 public properties, a type, and an X and Y coordinate. As always, this file is available for download in the link in the description. We'll pause for just a second so you can download it, and then we'll go ahead and get started. Alright, so let's get started. So the first thing I need to do is create my class definition. And we have to have a class in order to create objects that we're going to use inside of our main later on. Now, often we will create these and put these into an external file. And we'll see how to do that in a little bit. But right now, we're just going to go ahead and create them inside of our main application file. So what I'm going to do is say class, and then give the class name. This is going to be shape. You know that class names typically start with a capital letter, and then I'm going to have braces, and this is going to be my body. Notice that Visual Studio automatically puts a semicolon at the end. If your IDE does not do that, you need to remember to do that part. We're then going to put in an accessor. This is who can see these properties. So this is going to be public, so everyone can see them. And this is not the best way to do it. We'll look at how we're going to make them private in the next video. But for right now, just for simplicity's sake, we're going to go ahead and have public properties. That way it's a little bit easier to work with and understand what it is we're doing. So a class definition, we have 2 different things. We have properties, and this describes the objects that we're going to create. And then we're going to have methods, and methods are going to be things that object can do. So we're going to focus first just on those properties. And we specified the 3 different properties. A type, which is going to be a string, and we'll call it type. Notice that I'm just using regular data types inside my class definition. I can even use other class types as my data type if I want to. But since I only have this one class type, we got to kind of keep it simple with what we're used to using. The next one I'm going to have is double, and this is going to be both X and comma Y. So these are going to be a double type, and I'm going to have an X, Y coordinate for where is this shape located. So very, very simple. I'm going to come in here to main. I'm going to say shape, and I'll call this one S1. I'll say S1 dot type equals circle. I'll say S1 dot X equals 5.6 and S1 dot Y equals 7.2. Okay, so just give it some basic values. Because these properties are public, notice I can directly access them. I use the period to differentiate between my object name, and an object is just a complex variable. Okay, so we're typically used to using primitives like doubles and ints and things like that. When we deal with a class definition that we create, it's called an object, and that's at S1. So we see S1 dot and then our public property. And I know this information is stored because I can go cout S1 dot type is at S1 dot X. So when I go and run this, you notice it comes up and says circle is at 5.x by 7.2. So very simple, very easy to work with. Now, we don't typically want to have public properties because that can get a little bit complicated. We typically want to keep our data protected. So we'll look at how are we going to go in and protect our data in just a little. If you found this video helpful, please consider giving the video a like and check out the rest of the videos in this series on how to get better at programming in C and C++.